Welcome to Python Programming Language video tutorials by Talentshine India Private Limited. I am your host Babu sir, Technical Quant Logical Reasoning Trainer. In my previous tutorial, I have discussed Introduction to Tuple Data Structure and how to create tuple objects. In this tutorial, I would like to discuss tuple unpacking, membership operator, concatenation operator, replication operator, len method, count method, and index method. Without wasting much time, let us begin with tuple unpacking. So for that, let me open my IDE and let us take one example over here. So let us create a one tuple. So with name A, and here I'm going to take certain elements inside this tuple. The first element I'm going to take it as my name, and the second one, the city name, and the third one, the interest, that is, let me write here, music. Now, what is our role here? I would like to unpack this tuple. So in order to unpack, so let me create three variable names, name, city, and interest. So let us assign A. Now, which means A here, A means what here, a tuple. So inside this tuple, we have three elements. So the first element will be stored in name, second element will be stored in city, and the third element will be stored in interest. Let me write here, interest. Now, let us print name, and you could see the output. Now, let me print city, Guntur. The next one, print interest, and execute it. You are getting music. So in this particular way, you may unpack the tuple. So here, the elements which are there in this tuple bounded in round brackets. So when you unpack it, so they become free. So I hope the idea is clear to everybody. Now, is there any alternative way in order to unpack this tuple? Yes, we have. So you may use multiplication operator. So that is asterisk symbol. Let me write here asterisk symbol and write the name of the tuple. So which is what? A. Now, if you are going to execute it, here also we got tuple has been unpacked. So this is what an alternative way. So in order to unpack the tuple. So I hope everybody understood what I have conveyed. Now let's go back and discuss the next one is membership operators. So what are the membership operators we have? As we know already, the membership operators are in and not in. So these two we can call it as membership operators. Now what membership operators will do? So they will check the corresponding element which is there in this tuple or not. And these operators will be return the Boolean values, that is what, true or false. Now let us apply these operators on the tuple. Now if I'm going to take my name here, suppose Babu in A. Now this element, if it is there in A, it is going to return what? True. Right? If this element which is not there in A, in that particular case, it is going to return false. Now let me execute it. So it returns true as this element is there in this tuple A. Now let me change here, instead of capital P, let me take lowercase p. Now is this element is there in tuple A? Now in this particular case, it is not there because Python is case sensitive programming language. Small p is different from capital P. Now in this case, it is going to return what? False, as this element is not there in A, right? Now let me take one more example. Now in this case, I'm writing here music. Let me write here not in A. Actually, music is there in A, but I'm stating here not in A. So in this case, it is going to return false. Now, if you are writing here in, so then it is going to return true. So I hope you could understand what I have conveyed, right? Now, let me write one more example. 2 in A. So it returns what? False, right? Now, let me write here 3 not in A. So in this case, it is going to return true as this element is not there. So which we are conveying absolutely true. So I hope you could understand what is the role of these membership operators on tuples. Now let's go back and discuss the next operator, that is concatenation operator. So concatenation operator is what here? Addition operator. Addition operator, we can call it as a concatenation operator. So what is the use of this concatenation operator? So in order to add the elements which are there in one tuple to another tuple, so we are going to use concatenation operator. Now, let me take one example here. Now here already I have created one tuple with A. Now let me create one more tuple, B. Now in this case, I'm going to take integer values. So B is a tuple and A is also a tuple. Now let us concatenate A and B. Now, if you are writing here A and concatenation operator, that is plus and then B, then what is going to it returns? Now these elements, that is the elements which are there in B, will be added in A. Now let me execute it. Now you could see. So along with these elements, the elements which are there in B also has been added. Now do remember this concatenation operator never modify A and never modify B. So which means A and B remains the same. Now let me print A. So you may not find any changes in A. Now let me execute it. A remains the same. Now let me print B. It also remains the same. Now what is the role that this concatenation operator will do? It creates a new tuple. It creates what? A new tuple. Now let me save it in C. C is a new tuple, right? Now let me print C so that you could understand, right? So we got the new tuple over here. So which means in this new tuple we have, so these four elements also join. So I hope the idea of concatenation operator is clear to everybody. Now let's go back and discuss a replication operator. So what is the replication operator? So replication operator can be represented with a asterisk symbol. So we can call it as a multiplication operator. So replication operator is also called as a repetition operator, right? Now let me give a small example here. Now A replication operator, and you just try to write down the integer value here. Here you are not supposed to pass float value. Now what would be the output you will be getting? So in this particular syntax, you will be getting the elements which are there in A repeated for 2 times. As you pass here integer value as 2. Now let me execute it, then you could identify. So the elements which are there in A has been repeated for 2 times, right? Now, so let me print this one. Now let me do it the same expression one more time. Instead of A replication operator and 2, so I am writing here 2, which means we are writing integer value first and then we are writing variable name. Now any modifications you will be getting. Now third statement and fourth statement both are same. Now if I have executed, I will be getting similar output. Now let me take one more example here. If I have taken 0 into B. So I'm going to repeat the values which are there in B for how many number of times? 0 times. So in this particular case, you will be getting empty tuple. Now you could see, we will be getting empty tuple. Now let me copy it and paste it. Now let me write here some 4, which means the elements which are there in B repeated for 4 times. Now you could see 1 time, second time, third time, fourth time. Now can we take any negative integer values here? If you are going to take negative integer as like so 0 into B, it is going to return so empty tuple. So try to understand what I have conveyed related to replication operator. So if you clearly understood about the replication operator, now let's go back and discuss the next method, that is len method. Now what is the role of len method? So len method is providing the length of the tuple. So here length means what? Number of elements which are there in the tuple. In simple terms, it counts number of elements which are there in the tuple. Now let me write here len of A. So it counts what? Number of elements. Here how many elements are there? 3 elements inside the tuple. Now hence it returns integer value 3. Now let us apply for variable B. So len of B. Now in this case you will be getting 4 as we have 4 elements in B. So I hope the idea of len method is clear to everybody. Now let's go back and discuss the next method, that is count method. What is the role of this count method? And so what is this count method will do? It counts the number of occurrences of a specific element. So it counts what? Number of occurrences of a specific element. Now further, let me remove this example. And here I'm going to add a few more elements. Now, what is the count method will do? So it counts what? Number of occurrences of a specific element. Now, here I would like to count how many number of times 3 is present in this variable B or in tuple B. So in tuple B, we have plenty of elements. So one of the element we have 3, but 3 we have many times. How many number of times that 3 is present inside the tuple B? Now, let us use count method in order to find how many number of times that 3 is present inside as an element in tuple B. Now, further, let me write here B dot count. As we know already, count method will take only one parameter. Do remember, you have to pass the element. So then it finds how many number of times that the element is present inside the tuple. Now here I'm going to pass 3. Now let us find out here. So 6 times that 3 is present in tuple B. Now let us count here manually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let us use print statement over here and execute it. Now let me copy the same thing and paste it over here. And here I'm going to take 2. Now let us find how many number of times 2 present in this tuple. If you are going to execute it, so 2 is there here for how many number of times? 5 times. Let us count manually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let me pass here one more element, that is 5. Now is there 5? No. So when this element is not present inside the tuple, so then it is going to return what? 0. Right. Now here I have passed how many parameters? One parameter. Now let us pass two parameters. Now let me pass here 3 comma 2. Now, in this case, it tries just a type error. So here you have to pass only one parameter, right? So you just try to pass only one parameter. So which means that parameter here is what? The element. So it counts how many times this element is present inside this tuple. So I hope the idea of count method is clear to everybody. Now let's go back and discuss the next method, that is index method. What is the role of the index method? So index method will be used to find the first occurrence of a specific element. Index method, the role is what? It finds the first occurrence of a specific element and it returns the index number of the corresponding element. Now, let me take a few examples so that you could understand in a better way. Now, let me erase this and let me add a few more elements here. I'm going to add my name here and let me write here the city, and I'm going to write one more element here, that is one float value, right? Now, what is the role of this index method? So using this index method, we can find the first occurrence of a specific element, and it is going to return what? The index number for the corresponding element that we passed at this index method, right? Now, let me add the elements, repeated elements as well. Now, let us use index method over here. As we know the syntax already, let us write here b dot index of. So this index method holds how many number of parameters? So let me write here. So let me write here b dot index, and it holds three parameters. The first one is you have to pass element, and the second parameter is the start. Here start means the start index, and the third parameter is end. End means here end index. Now start and end indexes are optional and you must pass element. So this is mandatory parameter and these two are optional parameters. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass an element. So element I'm going to pass it as my name. Now what it is going to return? It is going to return the first occurrence of this element and corresponding index number. Now, what is the index number for this element, that is Posubabu? Now you could see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it is going to return 4. Now you could see. Now let me take the same example over here. So instead my name, let me write here 2. So here element I have passed as 2. Now if you observe, we have two 2's in this tuple. Now, what index it is going to return? It is going to return the first occurrence. So, where this first occurrence is there? At index number 1. Now, it is going to return 1. So, hope the idea is clear. Now, I don't want to set from the index number 1 onwards. This method is going to set the element, right? So, here, where 2 present? So, is there 2 at 0th index? No. So, at index number 1, we have a 2. And it stops and provides the corresponding index for this 2. But I don't want to set from the index number 1. I want to start searching from index number 3. So I have given here start index, right? So from index number 3 onwards, it is going to search the element for 2. Now index number 3 means what? So it is 0 and 1, 2, 3. So from here onwards, searching will be starts. Wherever it identifies 2 and it provides the corresponding index number. Now let me execute it. Now we have this 2 at index number 7. Now you could see this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At seventh index, we have 2. Now you can give even stop index as well. Now let me give stop index as length of A. Sorry, length of D. Now you will be getting similar output. Now let me copy it and let us use one more example. Now in this case, I'm going to search for 4. Now again, I have started from index number 3 onwards. Now in this case, where 4 will be there at index number 3. Now you could see, so at index number 3 itself, we have a 4. So hence it is written 3. Now if I have started from index number 5, now we will be getting another output. So that is what 9. So at the ninth index, we have 4. So I hope the idea of index method is clear to everybody. In this tutorial, we have discussed tuple unpacking, membership operator, concatenation operator, replication operator, len method, count method, and index method. All these methods are clear to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.